Leaking top insider stock trades every day until they stop us, October 6th. We'll start with W&T Offshore, where the CEO just bought $500,000 of the stock. Now, the market just opened as I'm making this video, and I just sent this write-up about W&T Offshore in the email this morning, but the stock is already up 15% just after the market opened, so looks like the market agrees with me that this is a pretty interesting insider purchase. The reason it's interesting is that the stock is still down 30% in the last year, even though it's up over 50% now in the last 6 months, so things are turning around. It's also trading at the low end of its historic EV/EBITDA multiple, and its forward earnings projections went up a lot after their previous earnings. On top of that, they mentioned that the Trump administration may try to prioritize and incentivize Gulf of America production, which would be a huge win for them. They're also expecting some strong production ramps with low capex because they're basically just fixing up and restarting some wells that are already there. Now we have another oil and gas company, Kinetic Holdings, where the CEO is also buying the stock with a $200,000 purchase. They're buying the short-term dip as the stock is down about 15%. In this case, I actually don't think this purchase is anywhere near as interesting as the insider purchase at W&T Offshore. The reason being is that the earnings estimates are pretty flat. They had to lower some EBITDA guidance due to some rising costs. They don't really have the Trump incentivization tailwinds that W&T has, and the company is actually trading at about its average historical valuation, not the low end like W&T. However, it's still fairly interesting because the earnings are in early November, and the CEO just bought the stock when the quarter ended at the end of September, so you should have a pretty good idea of how this quarter is going to look. And lastly, we've got the CEO at Sologenics making a small $20,000 purchase. The only reason this is kind of interesting is because the stock is really small. It's only about a $6 million market cap, which does make it very risky with very low volume, so you want to be super careful playing these kind of plays. However, the stock was up about 300% in August before falling all the way back down to where it was before the clinical trials came out, which were what shot the stock up 300%. On top of that, the CEO has a fairly mixed track record, kind of a 50-50 hit rate on wins and losses. However, twice before he has bought the stock within 3 months of a huge stock pop, 100% plus, because of good news coming out. Because this is a small cap biotech company, there obviously could be huge catalysts, or any news could cause the stock to pop massively. So the CEO buying the stock right now is a little bit of a play on whether or not in the next 3 months he, for the third time, properly times his purchase right before huge news comes out and causes the stock to pop. Find all the top insider trades at CEOWatcher.com.